A mountain is at the center of a controversy. Some believe it has magical healing power, that it was built by an ancient civilization.
There are ancient places so secretive that even the world's leading experts aren't allowed inside.
That cord down there is binding the shroud, it might be.
What could be concealed behind locked gates? Long-lost civilizations.
This is the Terracotta Army, one of the greatest wonders of the world.
Buried treasures. Or discoveries that are so shocking to reveal to the public. Tag along to find out.
And it looked just like a giant eye from all the way up in space.
Hidden beneath an old church in Rome lay one of the most eerie and fascinating places ever created, the Capuchin Bone Crypt. This underground chamber wasn't just a burial site, it was a work of art made entirely from human bones. Long ago, monks carefully arranged the skeletons of thousands of friars, turning skulls, ribs, and vertebrae into haunting decorations. The crypt had 6 rooms, each with its own chilling display. One held 3 skeletons, 2 of them small, possibly children from a noble family. Another had walls covered in delicate floral patterns, made entirely of bones. The most unsettling sight? A skeletal figure holding a scythe and scales, reminding visitors that time never stops. First Emperor's Army.
This is the Terracotta Army, one of the greatest wonders of the world.
Some mysteries stay hidden for centuries, waiting to be uncovered. One of the greatest was the Terracotta Army, thousands of life-sized clay soldiers buried underground for over 2,000 years. This wasn't just art, it was an emperor's vision of power, his army recreated in clay to guard him in the afterlife. More than 8,000 unique warriors stood in perfect formation, light infantry at the front, heavy infantry behind, and cavalry with 520 horses at the rear. The sheer scale of it was breathtaking. Standing there, surrounded by these ancient warriors, felt like stepping into a lost battlefield.
It's a really incredible feeling to be here, standing in a place where nobody really gets access. I mean, we're at the center, at the heart of this unbelievable World Heritage Site.
Catacombs of Peru. Deep beneath an old convent in Lima, Peru, lay the largest and best-preserved catacombs in South America. These underground vaults once held over 25,000 bodies, their bones carefully arranged in eerie patterns. Built in 1535, the convent itself was a masterpiece of Baroque architecture, but its most fascinating feature was hidden below. A massive well, nearly 10 meters deep, was filled with skulls and bones, a chilling reminder of the past. The convent also housed an incredible library, packed with 25,000 books on theology, philosophy, and history. Walking through the catacombs felt like stepping back in time, into a world where those who lived long ago still had stories to tell. Eerie Paris catacombs. Beneath the lively streets of Paris, a dark secret stretched for miles, a maze of tunnels holding the bones of millions. The Paris catacombs, a haunting underground world, stood as a silent reminder of the city's past. Walking through, one would have seen stacks of bones, thigh bones in one place, skulls in another. Some were piled randomly, while others were arranged like eerie decorations. Over the entrance, a chilling message had been carved: "Stop. This is the Empire of Silence. These bones once belonged to people buried in overcrowded cemeteries." Coffin found. Throughout history, people have buried their loved ones in many ways, but few discoveries are as intriguing as an ancient, sealed coffin. In 2013, archaeologists at a medieval burial site uncovered a rare stone coffin, just a few feet from the remains of a famous king. It was a significant find.
We just ran out of time to look at it closer, so we had to cover it back up, and you wouldn't believe how frustrating it is to have to, without knowing what's inside it.
The first intact medieval stone coffin excavated in the area. Due to time constraints, they had to leave it untouched, but the next year, they finally opened it. Inside, they found a lead coffin, an unusual second layer of protection. When they carefully cut it open, a skeleton of an elderly woman appeared, along with traces of fabric and hair. Who was she? While researchers connected her to the church, her true identity remains a mystery.
That cord down there is binding the shroud, it might be.
Richard III's grave.
Archaeologists in Britain say they've made an astonishing find. They've uncovered the remains of long-lost royalty, King Richard.
Archaeology is full of amazing discoveries, but finding a lost king, that's something truly incredible. During a dig at an old friary, archaeologists uncovered a human leg bone at the edge of a trench. At first, they weren't sure if it was just a loose bone or part of a full skeleton. After careful examination, they found the other leg still in place, confirming it was an undisturbed grave. 11 days later, the remains were exhumed. A young male with signs of battle injuries and a severe spinal curve. Months of testing finally confirmed what seemed impossible. This was the lost king, Richard III. It was a discovery that shocked the world and rewrote history. Secret doorway. One day, a curious hiker deep in the jungle noticed something odd. In the dense foliage and towering trees, he spotted a stone that blended so perfectly with the surrounding rocks, it was nearly invisible. It looked like a natural part of the mountain. This intrigued him, so he pushed the stone door open. Behind it, he found a well-crafted cave, its walls smooth and decorated with detailed carvings. This wasn't just a cave, it was an ancient structure hidden for centuries. How fascinating! What would you do if you found something like this? Oldest view.
Honestly, just like a little cave or something. I don't know. There are stairs down there.
There's something exciting about stumbling upon a hidden place, especially one that seems completely forgotten. Deep in the woods, far from any path, there was a strange opening in the ground. Just a small cave at first glance, but inside, hidden beneath an old oak tree,
But then the entrance is it's just strange.
stone steps led down into the darkness. The place felt abandoned, yet the lights were still on. That meant someone, somewhere, still used it. The air was dry, even after weeks of rain, and the deeper it went, the colder it got. It wasn't just a tunnel, it had to lead somewhere. But where? The journey down felt endless. Something was shining in the distance, but turning back up all those stairs seemed like the only option, for now.
Are you serious? I'm not supposed to be here.
Nazca Lines. Ancient civilizations left behind incredible wonders, but few are as mysterious as the Nazca Lines in Peru. Stretching across 170 square miles of dry desert land, these massive geoglyphs formed an enormous, breathtaking masterpiece. Created around 500 BCE, the designs included animals, people, and geometric shapes, all visible only from the sky. The artists revealed the figures by removing the dark stones on the surface, uncovering the lighter sand beneath. But why did they make these massive images? Some believed they were for gods, others thought they were an ancient calendar. No one truly knew. The Nazca Lines remained a puzzle, a message from the past that still waited to be understood. Oldest city in Europe. Ancient palaces were more than just grand buildings. They were centers of power, culture, and mystery. One of the most fascinating was the Palace of Knossos in Crete, a place filled with legends, from the mighty King Minos to the terrifying Minotaur. The ruins that remained belonged to a second palace, built over the first after an earthquake destroyed it. Coins found nearby bore images of labyrinths and minotaurs, linking the site to ancient myths. Excavations began in 1900, revealing massive halls, strange scripts, and stunning artifacts. The discovery of linear B tablets confirmed that Knossos had been a major administrative center. Sandia Man Cave. New Mexico is a land of stunning deserts, towering mountains, and deep mysteries. But hidden in the Sandia Mountains lies a lesser-known but very fascinating place, Sandia Man Cave. Discovered in the 1930s, this cave held signs of ancient human life.
When you're navigating through a cave, it's always important to look back sometimes, because a cave is going to look very different from two different directions.
Archaeologists found tools and bones, suggesting that early humans lived there over 10,000 years ago. Exploring the cave was no easy task. Crawling through narrow passages, the team relied on their lights to navigate the complete darkness. The entrance, known as the Twilight Zone, was the last place touched by sunlight before the cave plunged into pitch black. This wasn't just a cave, it was a window into prehistoric life. Bosnian pyramids.
A mountain is at the center of a controversy. Some believe it has magical healing power, that it was built by an ancient civilization.
In a small town in Bosnia, a massive pyramid-shaped hill caught attention in 2005. From a distance, it had 4 sides, 4 corners, and a familiar slope, just like a pyramid. Investigation soon began, and what was found underground was even stranger. Digging revealed large rectangular stone blocks buried beneath the soil, materials that didn't seem natural. Tests in several countries confirmed they were artificial, made from a type of ancient concrete.
It has 6 sides and 6 times breaks at 90 degrees. Obviously, hasn't been made by the Mother Nature, but by intelligent hand.
Even more mysterious were the underground tunnels, stretching for kilometers. Some believe they were over 30,000 years old. Can you believe it?
This structure, the north face, is 0 degrees deviation, which is almost perfectly oriented.
Not far out.
Stairway to mystery. Researchers uncovered an ancient stairway in the heart of the mountains, leading into an abyss filled with crystal-clear water. The stairway, which is partially submerged, appeared to descend into the unknown, with water flowing in from deeper chambers. Some believed it might lead to a long-lost civilization, with rumors about its connection to the legendary Atlantis. As they lowered the underwater drone, the steep steps proved difficult to navigate. The water table had reclaimed the lower chambers, once drained by miners long ago. Horned skulls. In the 1880s, archaeologists in Pennsylvania uncovered human skeletons unlike any ever seen. Men over 7 feet tall, with actual horns growing from their skulls. The remains, estimated to be around 800 years old, shocked scientists. They were carefully packed up and sent to a museum for further study. And then, mysteriously, they vanished. Some say they were stolen, others believe they were hidden on purpose. Were these beings ancient hybrids, lost pieces of history, or something even stranger? And if they really existed, what else has been buried and erased from history? Pharaoh Psamtik I. Statues and mummies, 2 of the most fascinating remnants of ancient Egypt. While mummies give us a glimpse into the lives of rulers, statues reveal how they wanted to be remembered. In 2017, a massive statue was discovered beneath the ruins of Heliopolis, buried for centuries under a busy neighborhood in Cairo. At first, experts thought it belonged to a famous pharaoh, but an inscription told a different story. It actually depicted a lesser-known king, once believed to have left little behind. But this statue, found in over 6,000 pieces, proved he was far more powerful than history had recorded. Now, archaeologists are racing to restore it, bringing this forgotten ruler back to life. Vatican secret archives. In a rare opportunity, a publisher was allowed inside the Vatican, capturing footage of rooms no outsider had ever seen. The archives contained letters from kings, papal decrees, and even a letter about Henry VIII's death. A massive underground bunker stored 43 kilometers of documents, including records from the Vatican councils and royal families. A tall tower covered in frescoes once played a role in creating the modern calendar. Temple of Kukulkan. Pyramids have always fascinated people. One of the most intriguing is the Temple of Kukulkan, also known as El Castillo, standing proudly in Chichen Itza, Mexico. Built by the Maya over 1,000 years ago, this pyramid is more than just a pile of stones. It's a masterpiece of astronomy, engineering, and mystery. Twice a year, during the equinox, sunlight creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down the steps. A tribute to the feathered serpent god, Kukulkan. Hidden inside are more layers, like a pyramid within a pyramid, and beneath it, a cenote, an underground water-filled cave. most controversial stone. Ancient rune stones have always attracted curiosity. Were they maps, messages, or warnings? One of the most famous and controversial was found in 1898 on a farm in Minnesota. A Swedish immigrant stumbled upon a 200-pound stone tangled in tree roots. It was covered in strange symbols, runes from an old Scandinavian alphabet.
Some people believe that he did make it. He didn't have a great education, but there was a book that had runes in it, even though they were different than these.
When translated, the message told of a journey in 1362 by a group of Norwegians and Swedes, ending in bloodshed. Some believed it proved Vikings reached America before Columbus, while others argued it was a hoax. Experts debated its authenticity for decades, and it was displayed in museums worldwide.
I just don't think that guy had the technology to do that kind of writing. How would he know how to do that?
Los Lunas Decalogue Stone. America is full of strange discoveries, but few are as puzzling as the Los Lunas Decalogue Stone. Hidden 41 miles southwest of Albuquerque, this giant boulder had strange carvings that looked like the Ten Commandments written in ancient Hebrew. Some believed it was proof that travelers from the Old World reached America long before Columbus. Others thought it was a clever hoax from the early 1900s. The first official report of the stone came in 1933. An archaeologist claimed it was covered in lichen, which only grows over decades or centuries. Acambaro figurines. Could humans and dinosaurs have lived together? That's the question raised by the discovery of thousands of strange figurines in Acambaro, Mexico. These small clay statues, some resembling dinosaurs, were found buried alongside human figures from different cultures. Some believe they were ancient artifacts proving an unknown chapter of history, while others thought it was an elaborate hoax. One investigator claimed locals made the figurines in the winter and secretly buried them. He even reported seeing fresh dirt and manure during a dig. But later, another expert found signs of age and wear on the figures, challenging the hoax theory. Funeral mask. Back in 2021, deep in the Mexican jungle, archaeologists made an astonishing find: a perfectly preserved stucco mask from the 7th century. This 20-centimeter mask depicted Pakal the Great, one of the most powerful Mayan rulers. What made it unique? Unlike most royal portraits, this one showed him as an old man, with wrinkles around his mouth and cheeks. The mask was found in Palenque, buried with ceramic figures, animal remains, and decorated bones. Likely offerings for an ancient ritual. Experts believed it marked the end of a major reconstruction. The funerary mask. Next up, one of the most breathtaking discoveries in modern history was the funeral mask of a young pharaoh, found in 1922 in the Valley of the Kings. This solid gold mask, which weighed around 22 pounds, was a true masterpiece. Experts believed it was made using a face mold and gold casting. The ancient Egyptians, skilled in pottery and metalwork, likely created a hardened mold of the face, then poured molten gold into it. The result? A lifelike image of the young ruler. Other parts, like the headdress and beard, were made separately and attached later. Mogao Caves. Located along the Silk Road, Mogao Caves in Dunhuang has been fought over for centuries. Many rulers who controlled it were devoted Buddhists, leaving behind incredible statues and paintings. Carved into the cliffs, the caves stretched for over 1,600 meters, with more than 700 grottos. The oldest ones dated back to the 5th century. Early statues showed influences from northern nomads, but by the Tang dynasty, the artwork became more Chinese. Monks once lived here in simple rooms, dedicating their lives to prayer. Cave of Mummies. Deep in a cave in Guanajuato, Mexico, mummies rested for years, naturally preserved by the dry air. These were some of the best preserved mummies ever found, with faces so intact they almost looked alive. It felt strange to say lifelike, since they were, in fact, real people. But some looked as if they might suddenly open their eyes. Only a few archaeologists were allowed inside to study them, but most of the cave remained off limits. Some believed more bodies were still hidden in the darkness, waiting to be discovered. What else lay deeper inside? Mystery Hill. Next up, we have a mysterious stone site in New Hampshire, often called America's Stonehenge. This ancient complex, built around 4,000 years ago, consisted of underground chambers. What's fascinating is that many believe they are aligned with the stars. It was likely created by early Native Americans, though no one knows for sure. Some believe it was built by the Celts, pointing to its similarities with European sites. But if that were true, it would mean the Celts reached North America thousands of years ago, something most historians find hard to accept. Engraved faces. Pumapunku was one of those places that just didn't make sense. Massive stone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, were scattered across the site, cut with an almost unnatural precision. The people who lived here thousands of years ago had only bronze tools, yet the stones were harder than granite. How did they shape them so perfectly? Even stranger, some blocks were never finished, as if work had suddenly stopped. The red sandstone came from 9 miles away, while the gray andesite was dragged from 45 miles away. And the layout? It wasn't even aligned to the cardinal directions. Ancient stone mystery.
One of the most interesting and unusual stones here at Pumapunku. It's got these perfect right angles, and each of these small drill holes are basically evenly spaced along this routed groove.
High in the Andes Mountains, over 12,000 feet above sea level, lie the mysterious ruins of Pumapunku. Massive stone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, are scattered across the plateau, as if something powerful once tore them apart. The precision is astonishing. Perfect right angles, smooth surfaces, and drill holes too advanced for the tools of the time. Mainstream scholars date the site to around 2,000 years ago, but some believe it could be over 15,000 years old.
We are talking about the place 4,000 meters over sea level. That means there are no trees up there.
No wheels, no writing, yet the builders crafted one of the most complex structures on Earth. Stonehenge secrets. Stonehenge has always been one of the most fascinating prehistoric sites in the world. Built around 4,500 years ago, it featured 83 massive stones, some weighing up to 25 tons. These stones were brought from places as far as 20 miles away, like the Marlborough Downs and Preseli Hills. The structure had 2 main entrances, with one being aligned with the sun during the summer and winter solstices. Inside, the altar stone sat in a special spot, and there was the slaughter stone, which got its name from a rumor about sacrifices. Over time, the site was surrounded by burial mounds, and visitors from long ago even carved graffiti into the stones. Stargate mystery. In the early 1900s, explorers found strange stone structures scattered in remote places across the globe. These mysterious artifacts, known as stone stargates, were covered in detailed symbols and patterns. No one knew what they were really for. Ancient legends suggested they were used by advanced civilizations from far-off planets to travel across the stars. By the 1950s, almost all the stargates mysteriously disappeared. Some believed governments secretly took them and hid them away in classified locations, while others suspected a cover-up was underway. Floating doorway. In November 2023, a long-forgotten ancient site was uncovered after an online article gained attention. The site, featuring a mysterious floating door on a mountain, quickly went viral, with everyone curious about its origins. Researchers dove into the mystery, uncovering a fortress hidden in Hain City, China. With few details available, they hired a local to explore the site, navigating treacherous paths to reach it. The fortress turned out to be more than just a structure. It was strategically built with hidden entrances and caves, offering secrets that had remained untouched for centuries. The site revealed evidence of ancient fortifications, possibly from the Ming Dynasty, but still, its true purpose remains shrouded in mystery. Aztec monolith. Mexico City may now be a bustling modern metropolis, but did you know it sits on top of ancient civilizations? The Zocalo has been a central hub for over 1,000 years, and behind the National Cathedral, the Aztec temple once stood. In 1978, workers accidentally discovered the ruins while digging a subway. Since then, excavation work has revealed incredible finds, including a giant 13-foot stone sculpture of the goddess Tlaltecuhtli, the Aztec goddess of the underworld. While the fierce face might seem frightening, the Aztecs viewed her as a symbol of hope and rebirth. Ancient relic. A nearly 2,000-year statue was discovered in the ancient Turkish city of Alabanda. It featured a well-preserved head of Roman Emperor Hadrian, believed to have been created for his visit to the city in 120 AD. The statue, measuring about 8.2 feet, was found in 6 separate pieces. Hadrian, who ruled the Roman Empire from 117 to 138 AD, was known for traveling across his empire, visiting distant regions. The statue was uncovered in southwestern Turkey, once part of the Roman Empire. Antarctica.
Pyramids, huge great pyramids in Antarctica. They jut out of the ice and snow, and they look perfect, just like those in Egypt.
Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth, so it was once thought to be completely uninhabitable. The continent is covered in thick ice, with temperatures averaging minus 49 degrees Fahrenheit and winds reaching over 100 miles per hour. But in 2016, satellite images revealed strange formations in the ice that some researchers believed could be man-made pyramids. These pyramids were said to resemble those in Egypt, only much larger. Some stories, especially from Polynesians, suggested ancient humans might have reached Antarctica long ago. Catacombs of Egypt. Moving on, the catacombs of Kom el Shokafa in Alexandria, Egypt, are like stepping into another world. This ancient burial site, which dates back to the 2nd century AD, mixes Egyptian, Greek, and Roman styles, creating a fascinating blend of cultures. The catacombs were discovered by accident in 1900, when a donkey fell into a shaft. Inside, a circular staircase led down into tombs carved into the rock. The site originally served one family, but grew over time to hold many more. One of the most intriguing spots is the Hall of Caracalla, where bones of horses, buried alongside the emperor's steeds, were found. Would you want to visit this place? Olduvai Gorge. Olduvai Gorge is one of those places that completely reshapes how we see the past. This spot in Tanzania isn't just one archaeological site, it's an entire area full of clues about early humans. Researchers discovered ancient stone tools and hominid fossils here, showing that humans have been around for nearly 2 million years. It was home to early human species like Homo habilis, giving us a rare peek into how our ancestors lived.
And then these other things, which are generally termed Homo habilis, after the species that Louis Leakey named at Olduvai in 1960.
Without Olduvai Gorge, we would have a much smaller picture of human evolution. The Lost City. In June 1965, as astronauts floated above Earth on the Gemini 4 mission, they captured a stunning photo that would leave people talking for decades. Below them, in the vast Sahara Desert, was a strange 30-mile-wide circle that looked eerily like a giant eye. Known as the Eye of the Sahara, or the Richat structure, this odd formation has puzzled scientists ever since.
And it looked just like a giant eye from all the way up in space. Hence, it came to be known as the Eye of the Sahara.
But here's the wild part. Some now believe it could be the remains of Atlantis.
The story of Atlantis comes down to us from the Greek philosopher Plato.
Once a lush paradise, the Sahara was home to rivers and lakes long before it became the barren desert we know today. Could the eye be the key to the lost city of Atlantis? It is very much possible. Enigmatic culture of Crete.
The Minoans are the inhabitants of Crete, based on the island of Crete, who created this wonderful civilization that has been hailed from the very beginning as the first European civilization.
The Minoans of Crete are fascinating and mysterious people. We know so little about them, especially since their writings, called Linear A, remain undecoded. These ancient people, living on the island from around 3000 BC to 1000 BC, created one of Europe's first great civilizations. Despite their advanced society, we still don't know what they called themselves. Minoan is just an archaeological term from Greek myths. They built massive palaces, like the one at Knossos, full of colorful frescoes that seemed ahead of their time, almost like an early form of Art Nouveau. Tunnels under Sphinx.
Okay, so that's a dead end. Here we are under the Sphinx, in one of the forbidden holes.
There's always been mystery around the Great Sphinx of Giza, and people have long wondered if there were secret tunnels and chambers hidden beneath it. In the 1970s, famous archaeologists explored a passage under the Sphinx, but they found nothing, or so we thought. It wasn't until some brave men snuck down there, risking everything, that new photos and videos came to light. These images showed a hidden tunnel leading up into the Sphinx, something never revealed before. The tunnel was blocked off, but its location raised new questions. Despite experts saying there's nothing hidden, radar has found strange anomalies under the Sphinx, leaving us to wonder, what's really down there? Sacsayhuaman. Ancient structures often tell incredible stories, and few are as impressive as Sacsayhuaman, a massive Inca fortress towering above Cusco, Peru. Built in the 15th century, this site was a true masterpiece of engineering. If Cusco was designed in the shape of a puma, Sacsayhuaman formed its head. The fortress had zigzagging walls stretching over 305 meters, built with enormous stones, some taller than 8 meters and weighing many tons. Strangely, the stones fit together perfectly without mortar, making the structure nearly unmovable. Even powerful earthquakes, which destroyed nearby buildings, couldn't shake it. Sacsayhuaman still stands today, defying time and nature. Cave of Altamira. Ancient artwork has always fascinated people, but some of the most breathtaking pieces aren't on canvas. They're hidden deep inside caves. The Cave of Altamira in northern Spain is one of the best examples. Thousands of years ago, Paleolithic artists painted incredible images of deer, buffalo, and horses on its walls. They used natural rock contours to give their art a three-dimensional look, making the animals seem almost alive. The paintings were discovered in 1879 by a young girl exploring with her father. He realized their importance, but at the time, no one believed him. It wasn't until decades later that experts confirmed they were real. Lascaux Cave.
It's a sacred place. We don't live in a church. They never lived in the caves. And it's a huge composition. It's a calculated composition because they have taken advantage of the strip of rock to relate in a circle two groups of bulls facing each other.
Long before the pyramids and Stonehenge, back when mammoths and saber-toothed cats still roamed, prehistoric artists painted deep inside caves in Europe. These weren't just random drawings, but detailed and carefully planned works of art, created by the Magdalenians, an ancient culture that supported skilled artists. One of the most famous sites, Lascaux, was discovered in 1940 by 4 kids and their dog. Over the years, thousands of visitors unknowingly damaged the cave's delicate art, bringing in fungus and altering the air. To protect the paintings, the caves were closed, and an exact replica, Lascaux II, was built. Looking at these incredible images, it's clear these ancient people were far more advanced than we once thought. Cave of Crystals. Some places on Earth look like they belong to another world, and the Cave of Crystals in Mexico was one of them.
The reason it's so hot in this cave is that it lies on a fault, and underneath that fault is a magma chamber. And it's that hot magma that's heating the groundwater and then heating here with all this incredible humidity.
Discovered in 2000 by miners digging a tunnel, this underground wonder held some of the largest natural crystals ever found. One measured over 36 feet long and weighed more than 55 tons. These crystals grew to such enormous sizes because of the extreme heat inside the cave.
Very uneven. It's over 50 degrees in here right now.
Which reached a blistering 136 degrees Fahrenheit. The high humidity and scorching temperatures made exploring almost impossible without special suits. Just standing among these towering crystals felt unreal, like stepping into a lost world. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. For over 2,000 years, stunning bronze statues lay hidden beneath the mud and hot springs of an ancient Italian spa. They are perfectly preserved and are from the Roman and Etruscan eras. Slowly, carefully, archaeologists brought them back to light. 24 breathtaking statues, along with thousands of coins and votive offerings. They were believed to have belonged to noble families and emperors. These statues once stood in a sacred sanctuary before being placed in the waters as part of an ancient ritual. Now, after over 2,000 years, these long-lost treasures have been found again, giving us a rare look at the art and spiritual life of the past.